Hello, everyone. Today's Tuesday, May 5th, and it's time for yet another chapter. We're getting closer to the end. We're at chapter 21 today, and it's called Run, and it's coming from the side of Hideki. So, hope everyone's having a great day once again, and here we go. It says, Banzai! The Japanese lieutenant yelled as the soldiers and refugees streamed outside. Hideki didn't want to die. Shigetomo's Mubai took over, and Hideki ducked the lieutenant's bamboo stick and fled deeper into the cave. "You! Get back here, you coward!" the lieutenant cried. He raised his pistol and pulled the trigger. Pakow! The sound of the lieutenant's gun was so loud in the little cave that Hideki was sure he'd been shot. He flinched and stumbled to the ground, scuffing his knees. But he hadn't been shot. The bullet had missed him. Heart pounding, Hideki scrambled to his feet and snatched up the sack of the Emperor's photos. But there was nowhere to run. The front entrance was the only way in or out of the cave. Hideki's breath came hard and quick as he backed away. The lieutenant's eyes were wide with madness. He aimed the gun at Hideki again. Pakow! Hideki's eardrums were so damaged that the sound was muted now. But he felt the sting of the bullet as it grazed his arm. It burned white hot, like touching a pot that had been out too long over the fire. He cried out, his own voice muffled to him. The sound of the gunshots had hurt the lieutenant's hearing too. He winced, closing his eyes and holding his ears. In moments, Hideki knew the lieutenant would recover and take another shot. Hideki searched deeper for some way to escape. The air shafts! These man-made caves had air vents cut into them, leading up to the surface. While the lieutenant still had his eyes closed, Hideki slipped the string of the sack of the photos around his neck and scrambled up a hill of dead bodies and into the air shaft above them. There weren't many places to hang on, but he managed to wedge his knees against the hard rock to hold himself in place. The sack weighed him down and he struggled to climb, his knees barking in pain, his arms burning and bleeding. Hideki looked down, worried that the lieutenant was going to appear underneath him any moment. But the lieutenant must have seen him climb into the air shaft. He cried out in surprise, demanding Hideki come out from wherever he was hiding. That gave Hideki a panicky few seconds to claw himself higher. Just as his hand found the wooden frame at the top of the shaft, he heard the lieutenant cry out again. He had spotted Hideki. He was looking right up the air shaft at him. The lieutenant yelled something at him, something Hideki's ringing ears couldn't understand, and Hideki heaved himself up and out of the air shaft as another bullet from below hit the wooden frame, showering him with splinters. But he was free. Hideki crawled out onto the hilltop, studded with broken tree stumps. There was no chance the tall lieutenant could follow him up the shaft. Hideki himself had barely fit. And the entrance to the cave was nowhere nearby. He was safe for now. His limbs were near useless, ears still pounding. Hideki rolled into one of the water-filled craters that pitted the ground. As he lay half submerged, he began to cry again. Great, racking sobs he couldn't control. Hideki cried for the Okinawans he'd watched get strapped with explosives. He cried for the Japanese soldiers who lay dying in the cave. He cried out of sheer exhaustion. He even cried for the awful lieutenant. Hideki cried until he had no more tears to shed. And then the Okinawan sky cried for him, raining down its own cold tears. His father was right. Okinawa was a Suta Ishi, a sacrificial stone, just like the blood and iron student corps. The Japanese army had sent him and the other boys out to fight against an experienced, well-equipped American killing machine with nothing more than a few days' training and 2 grenades. They expected them to die. The Japanese army didn't care about protecting Okinawa or its people. All they cared about was buying themselves enough time to defend their own islands. Hideki's face burned hot with anger and shame. He believed everything they told him, swallowed all their insults and their lies. And for what? Hideki picked up the sack of the images of His Majesty the Emperor of Japan and flung it away with a scream. Picture frame spilling out into the mud. Hideki was done. Finished. There was nothing left to fight for, and certainly nothing left to die for. He could find a squad of American soldiers and surrender to them, just like the leaflets had told him to. Hideki trudged down the other side of the hill, slipping and sliding in the muck. He spotted American soldiers up ahead, clearing a cave. Hideki froze, watching in horror as the Americans fired a flamethrower through the cave's tiny entrance. They hadn't even checked to see if it was a soldiers or civilians inside. One American soldier spotted Hideki and pointed. He yelled something. Suddenly, the other soldiers turned and aimed their guns right at him. "No, wait!" Hideki cried. Another American with a huge gas tank on his back turned on Hideki with wild eyes. Blazing, crazy eyes like the one Hideki had seen on the lieutenant in the cave. Liquid flame spouted out from the nozzle of the American flamethrower. Whoosh! Hideki was far enough away that the flames just brushed him, singeing his eyebrows and setting the front of his uniform on fire. He stumbled backward into the mud, desperately putting out the flames. Bullets buzzed like mosquitoes in his ears, and he turned and ran. They were all monsters, the Japanese and the Americans, and he zigged and zagged, trying to escape their evil spirits, just like his father had taught him. Hideki didn't know where he was, or where he was going. He just knew he never wanted to see another American soldier again as long as he lived. That was called Run by Hideki. So guess what the next chapter is called? It's with Ray, from Ray's point of view, and it's also called Run. So for today, that's chapter 21. Hope you enjoyed it, and again, hope everyone's having a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.